Tonight, combating hate with chocolates and friendly conversations. And known as Sinead O'Connor, buried as Shuhada Sadakat as the Irish star reaches her final abode. We cover stories about Palestinians' push for two-state solution, Meta's anti-competitive news blackout, and a Turkish archer's victory after beating a Canadian in the World Archery Championships. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Catherine Bullock. A Libyan-born entrepreneur is trying to diffuse tensions with chocolates and conversation, as hurt and agitated Muslims are witnessing increasing incidences of Quran desecration in Sweden. During the recent desecration in a Stockholm suburb, Hussam El-Gomati's calming influence and Arabic conversation eased the situation as an agitated man confronted a woman burning a Quran with Swedish police present. El-Gomati and his community strive to shift attention from the incidents of burning the Quran and promote positive interactions with media, bystanders, and police. They engage in friendly conversations, distribute chocolates, and counter provocation. El-Gomati highlights the importance of friendly dialogue in countering Islamophobia and hate. Sweden's Muslim minority faces external and internal pressures. In such circumstances, El-Gomati is advocating legal avenues to alter Quran burning regulations instead of volatile protests. He addresses international Muslim expectations for action and stresses mutual respect and understanding within Swedish society. And in related news, the European Union says it will continue talks with the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to promote tolerance and mutual respect after a series of recent Quran burnings in northern countries of the bloc. Speaking to reporters at a news briefing, a spokesperson for Foreign Affairs confirmed that the EU Commission is in regular contact with the OIC. He explained that officials from the Commission and the OIC's Brussels representative hold regular talks to understand the next steps after several incidents of Quran burning or desecration that happened recently in Denmark and Sweden. The EU spokesperson calls these actions, quote, irresponsible acts of irresponsible individuals who are interested in sowing discord and troubles and divide us as communities. He says these acts of desecration are not EU policy. He says this is the time to stand together and reinforce efforts to promote tolerance and mutual respect. Islamophobic figures or groups have repeatedly carried out Quran burnings and similar desecration attempts in Northern Europe in recent months, drawing outrage from Muslim countries and the world. An Indian court in Haryana is questioning whether recent state-directed property demolitions targeting Muslim-owned homes and businesses are an exercise in ethnic cleansing. The Punjab and Haryana High Court has ordered a halt to the 4-day bulldozing operation in Nuh district. The court is expressing concerns about using law enforcement as a pretext for organized ethnic cleansing. The court says the demolitions lack proper legal procedure and prior notices to property owners. This is a rare instance where a court is echoing questions being raised by rights groups. Human rights experts around the world have criticized the BJP for frequently targeting Muslim-owned properties. Media reports show the BJP-led government in Haryana has demolished multiple homes, shops and shanties in Nuh, the sole Muslim-majority district in the state. In a US congressional briefing last year, Gregory Stanton of Genocide Watch warned of possible genocide against Muslims in India. Stanton draws parallels between BJP policies and atrocities like the Rohingya crisis. Tensions rose in Haryana as a far-right Hindu group organized a procession through a Muslim-majority district, allegedly carrying sticks, swords, and guns. Since then, the police have arrested mainly Muslim participants on accusations that they participated in the violence that occurred during the procession. Despite eased prohibitions in the area, fears persist among Muslims, prompting some to leave. Reports indicate threats of violence against Muslims who refuse to vacate their homes. A mosque in Germany has received a threatening letter. The letter was received this past Friday and addressed to the Ayub Sultan Mosque in the town of Bramshire in the Lower Saxony state. The letter reads, "Continue like this, what we did to the Jews, we will do to you too. That day is not far away." The letter also includes insults directed to Islam. Ahmed Ermak, president of the mosque affiliated with the Turkish Islamic Union for Religious Affairs, says another mosque in the region received a threatening letter earlier this week. Both the letters were sealed with the NSU 2.0, referring to a neo-Nazi group responsible for a string of murders. Ermak says a similar letter had been sent to them about a year ago through the mail. He is expressing concerns about such threats and has requested the authorities to pay attention to these incidents. He said they filed a criminal complaint with police. A report shows at least 35 mosques were attacked in Germany last year. The majority of these attacks are motivated by Islamophobia and right-wing extremism in the country. Irish music icon Sinead O'Connor has been laid to rest. O'Connor, who took the name Shuhada Sadakat after becoming Muslim, had an Islamic funeral in her hometown, Bray, Ireland. Over 3,000 mourners lined the streets as her funeral procession passed by. Mourners paid their respects by singing her all-time hit, "Nothing Compares to You," while her coffin was paraded in a VW camper van. Mourners touched the van and covered it with flowers. The funeral reflected O'Connor's identity as an Irish and Muslim woman, with Islamic prayers and a Muslim burial. The funeral was attended by Irish President Michael D. Higgins and Taoiseach or Prime Minister Leo Varadkar. Sheikh Dr. Umar Al-Qadri, the chief imam at the Islamic Centre of Ireland, said he was honoured to lead the Muslim funeral prayer for Sinead O'Connor. He said he met the star in 2018. He conveyed his gratitude for the chance to commemorate her life. The funeral also used celebrities like U2's Bono, The Edge, Adam Clayton, and Bob Geldof. Sinead O'Connor's honesty and powerful voice touched hearts worldwide during her career, which included numerous hits. For more on a Muslim mother's resolve to defend children's rights, stay tuned. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh held discussions Monday with members of the US Congress on ways to revive the political process, Washington's role in preserving the two-state solution, and recognizing the Palestinian state. A statement from the Palestinian Prime Minister's office confirms Shtayyeh's meeting with a delegation of 22 members of the Democratic Party in the West Bank city of Ramallah, under the chairmanship of the leader of the Democrats in the US House of Representatives. At the meeting, Shtayyeh called on the US Congress to vote for the recognition of the Palestinian state. He said Israel violates international law every day through killings, raids, and building illegal settlements. He says this causes the systematic destruction of the two-state solution. Shtayyeh said the continuation of the fait accompli will lead to a shift towards a single state with an apartheid regime, pointing to Israel's practices. He called on the US Congress to press Israel to allow Palestinian elections that include Jerusalem in accordance with signed agreements. Regarding Israel's prevention of this, Shtayyeh said Israel's failure to allow it is an attempt to wage a war against Palestinian democracy. He also urged the congressional delegation to push for amending laws and regulations targeting the Palestinian Authority and the Palestinian Liberation Organization and linking them to terrorism. Former US President Donald Trump in 2018 decided to cut more than $20 million in aid to hospitals serving Palestinians in occupied East Jerusalem. President Joe Biden's administration, on the other hand, has promised to reopen the US consulate in East Jerusalem, the Palestinian Liberation the Palestinian Liberation Organization office in Washington, and the resumption of aid to Palestine. Canadian media groups are labeling Meta's decision to block news content on Facebook and Instagram as anti-competitive. They are demanding an investigation. Friction ignited after Bill C-18, or the Online News Act, mandated tech companies like Meta and Google to share revenue with Canadian news outlets for news posted on its media platforms. In response, Meta blocked news content in Canada. It is possible that Google may follow suit. The Canadian Association of Broadcasters and News Media Canada issued a statement calling Meta's decision anti-competitive. The statement says the action will strengthen Meta's already dominant position in advertising and social media distribution and harm Canadian journalism. It says the decision will prevent Canadian news companies from accessing the advertising market and significantly reduce their visibility to Canadians on social media channels. The Canadian groups are urging the Competition Bureau to investigate Meta's action and prohibit Meta from continuing to block Canadians' access to news content. The Competition Bureau was set up by the government. It is an independent watchdog that investigates acts that hinder competition. The Bureau fined Canada Bread $50 million earlier this year for price fixing. A Muslim woman who ran for mayor in the recent by-election in Toronto has become a target of online abuse from progressives due to her opposition to gender ideology that contradicts Islamic principles. Bahira Abdusalam, who serves on the Toronto District School Board's Parent Involvement Advisory Committee, has received hateful messages, some of which are xenophobic and derogatory, about her hijab. Despite the abuse, she remains steadfast in her determination to defend children's rights. A media source is reporting that some people have filed a complaint against her with the Professional Engineers Ontario licensing body. But Abdusalam says threats of losing her professional license won't deter her from advocating for her children and others. She says she is speaking the truth, which is a powerful weapon against those who oppose her. Turkish archer Mete Gazoz has bagged on Sunday a gold medal at the Berlin 2023 Hyundai World Archery Championships. Gazoz beat Canadian Eric Peters 6-4 in the recurve men's final. Gazoz had defeated Chile's Ricardo Soto 6-2 in the quarterfinals and Brazil's Marcos Del Meide 7-3 in the semifinals. Gazoz had previously bagged a gold medal in men's individual archery at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Thank you for watching. Sound Vision, which is a not-for-profit organization, produces our news, and we need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad.